So now we're live.
Well, we figured that out. We are live-ish. Back with the Strength and Philosophy cast, sponsored by Nike Weightlifting. You can enter LiftLab code. No, sorry, already messed that up. LiftLab20 on athleteperformancesolutions.com to save 20% on all your Nike weightlifting needs. We are also sponsored by, as always, Killcliff. Our man Oscar Hoy of the Fighting Vikings coming back to beat the Rich Fronings in 2018 Madison 2.0.
Is it going back to Madison?
It is. They had like a
So
multi-year deal. It was actually a great setup. And I don't know if you guys saw this via the Instas yesterday. Nonchalantly, I gotta say, Rich Froning's stock is rising for me anyway.
Why?
And because nonchalantly he was like, "Oh yeah, I tore my meniscus, full tear, a week before regionals started." Did he mention it? No. Did he make any excuses? No.
Perfect opportunity.
Exactly. He was not hiding in the corner, so I like that. All right. Anyway, today we, as always, I'm here with other Dan, good-looking Jess, handsome Dan. Solutions Dan, problems Dan.
We all know that works the other way around.
I'm just listening. I am the solutions Dan.
Well, did you tell them we have a special treat today? How they're going to listen to the two of us argue?
Yeah, so we decided, we need to do what we need best. Dan and I fight most of the day, which is, people make the mistake all the time of thinking that fighting's not a healthy part of a relationship, but it is. It's when the fighting gets unhealthy that it, becomes like toxic. And most of it's competitive banter throughout the day while I'm solving the problems that Dan has brought to me in the gym. And he's trying to run into the ground. I'm trying to keep us afloat.
Did you tell them we forgot to mention we actually did like a calculation on your work to bullshit ratio?
That was not.
It was.
First of all, there was no internal review board.
Well,
okay, it was not an approved study.
HR did it.
There was a lack of controls, I might add. There's like some serious flaws in your academic approach.
53 minutes of bullshit, 7 minutes of work.
Those 7 minutes, though, if those numbers were, those alleged numbers, if those were to be correct, that you did nothing to account for the intensity and the magnitude of those 7 minutes, right? All right, so today we are going to answer some questions. We're going to throw in Jess here as the moderator, mediator. And these are basically like questions that we get from the members on a daily basis. And we're going to give you our no bullshit advice that we give our people right here inside these doors every day. You ready? Unfiltered. We are explicit on iTunes. If your kids are in the car, plug their ears or put them in the trunk.
Or maybe it's just a learning moment for them.
Yeah, fuck's a part of the world. People say it.
I think we've already sweared at least 3 times before.
All right.
I'm going to read a question, then I'm going to start a 5-minute clock, and you guys are going to hand
Should
it out.
Dan go first?
5-minute clock?
We'll flip-flop. We'll flip-flop.
Swap.
Dan, since you are the visiting team in this gym,
Let him go first.
Am I?
Dan will go first. So, first question. Does a weightlifter need to do bodybuilding? Does a weightlifter need to do bodybuilding? 5 minutes starts now.
So the simple answer is yes, they need to do bodybuilding. However, that may look a little bit different than
are you taking the yes side or the no side?
Yeah,
take a stand, dance, and muddling in the middle.
But I'm saying it might look a little bit different.
Are you answering both sides of the coin?
I'm going to answer my side of the coin, Dan.
Not
the answer
committed.
is yes. You are just going total Skip Bayless on us right now. Going total crazy angry white
Tony
man.
Kornheiser / Mike Wilbon combo.
That doesn't make any sense because that's both sides of the coin.
Jess, that's his famous question.
All right,
and then
so
ask him to take the stance.
Yes, they need to do it.
Okay.
But it needs to be not on machines, obviously, all free weights. Maybe not so much bicep curls all that much, but they do need to do a lot of bodybuilding aspect in order to build up their tendinous portions of their body. So they need stronger tendons. They need to build up. They need to build up legs. They need to build up their hips. They need to build up their shoulders. They need to build these parts up in order to handle the loads that they're going to handle. Jared Villarreal went to the AO3 and talked to Coach Ma, and I believe he said that his knees hurt or that his elbows or shoulder hurt, and Coach Ma just sat there and said, "It's because you have no muscle."
All right.
Basically is what he said. But when you're built like a spider,
Barn cat.
right? Built like a barn cat, you're kind of scraggly. I do like the spider example because it's like, how do they move so well when they really have no muscle? It must be like hydraulics that power those limbs. So when you have itty bitty little elbows and like small little forearms and small little arms, you really cannot handle the massive loads that you're going to need. So hence he is on his way up to 94. You can follow him on Instagram at barncat_94 for
Just
pictures of
food.
massive amounts of eggs and noodles.
Yeah, eggs and noodles. So
It's also a student, so that
right.
So
that does explain it.
weightlifters do need bodybuilding.
They do need some bodybuilding in their program, and it needs to be directed at the muscles that are going to hold that weight.
Well then,
Okay.
not to steal a page from the female British announcer on Eurosport when mentioning Buff Mendez, but all that upper body mass is useless.
She
All
also-
right, we are in the sport of lifting weights, not looking pretty, and the sport is snatch and clean and jerk. Essentially, you need nothing else. Your body is going to take a shape of the task it's given. All right, so if your job is to move massive amounts of weights, all right, your job is going to your body is going to adapt to that stimulus. All right, what are the largest changes in muscle fiber type? Largest diameter changes. Type 2 fibers. Okay, what's Olympic weightlifting? Type 2 fibers. Okay, so you're going to get your muscles and your tendons built up by snatching and clean and jerking. Okay, the rest of it is fluff. It's fluff.
It's fluff.
It's fluff.
Dan, I'm glad you decided to base your side of this argument on basically the foundation of the podcast you decided to delete. Which is basically like your body's going to body's going to form to the task at hand.
We deleted that podcast?
Yeah, basically like the.
Oh, we played that one.
It's like the lost episode podcast, but I mean that's a really good sort of strategy. However,
somebody's got to commit to a point here.
Correct.
Wait, every strength and conditioning coach ever just answers, it depends.
Right. Well, no. The answer is yes. So we've seen it
Several
national meets, and we've seen some elbow snap on some people that look like they didn't have a lot of muscle on them little baby elbows.
You know what?
And then you get that elbow snap, and all of a sudden you might need a little more mass up there to help hold that joint in place. And it's not necessarily about having more muscle, right? So like when you have
but you don't need bodybuilding stuff to do that. You could push press, you could jerk out of the blocks, you could do rows, RDLs.
like bodybuilders not do those things.
I don't think a lot of bodybuilders are doing
RDLs,
jerks.
RDLs, rows.
Well, when we're talking about
rows.
bodybuilding, we're
I'm talking about rows. I'm talking.
Okay,
about
so
RDLs,
you
I'm talking about
want? So
high
we're going to
volume.
change the question now
No, I'm not
to:
talking about high
should you
volume
use
work.
accessory work in Olympic weightlifting or not? Is that the question?
This is
that the question?
This is bodybuilding work, and when you have somebody that
Uncommittal.
needs to add,
Hit him the
mass-
button, Jess.
All right.
We had 16 more seconds for Dan to yell nonsensically. So for the viewers out there, they really missed that 16 seconds of Dan just being probably like for like the audio listeners looking as red as you think he would in the face. Anyway, on to the next.
All right. So Dan Brown will now be taking the positive side.
Can't really wait.
Yeah,
Can't
there's two
really
sides.
wait for this first
So-
one.
Dan Brown is going to take the positive on this, and then Dan German's going to take the negative.
Am I?
Or is there a negative and a positive side?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I'm not sure, Jess.
It kind of was. I mean, you were convicted.
Hey,
in your,
there's a right
Jess,
side and a
Jess,
wrong side.
Yes, I see you trying to pit us against each other. This is really great.
Is that what's supposed to happen?
This is really great. I see you trying to beat us in this light. Don't
Dan
fall
Brown,
back.
Stephen A. Smith did come out with a lot of enunciation. and
Sorry.
emphasis between
I have known LeBron James since he was 18.
He needs some table
His
slack.
mom.
All right. Next question. When should I start 2-a-days? 5 minutes on the clock. Dan Brown, Your Honor, Your Honor.
Well, I would say you should start when you build into it, but that kind of doesn't make sense because at some point you got to do 2 a day. I think a better thing would be all right, if you're training 5 days a week, Okay, you need to think of 2-a-days not as double the volume, but as twice the quality. Okay, so you want to build into 5 to 6 days a week of training. Once you've built into 5 or 6 days a week of training, you can start adding in 2-a-days and maybe adding them in at only like 6 or 7 sessions. Okay, so we're looking at the total volume of training versus I'm just doing 2-a-days for the point of doing 2-a-days. Okay, there are some people that might say you should start doing them right away. That might be what Dan German says. It may not be what he says, but I think you got to build into it with a healthy amount of volume first and look at total sessions, not total days. So, for example, I have athletes here that train 2-a-days, and depending on how much they've trained, they build into that 9 to 11 sessions a week, but nobody started with that. Mm-hmm. In general, we'll start them out, or I'll start them out training 5 days a week, okay? So 5 sessions a week, and we'll up that to 7 sessions a week, okay? Or 6 sometimes, where they do 4 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon, which is a little more common, and that only puts them at an additional session a week, but gives them 2 2-a-days. So you can start your 2-a-days once you've built up the appropriate capacity to handle that stimulus. All right? They should not start 2-a-days until there's a reason to. Okay? So you need to have an athlete prepared to the point where the only way for them to change, young Tyler, right? You're reading about this right now, is when they can no longer adapt to the stimulus, right? And you have to give them something new to create change.
Dan German.
Wrong answer. Shit. Sorry.
Short.
Right answer. Now Dan will take the wrong answer.
Dan, when should I start my 2-a-days?
Once you can complete your 1-a-days, Jess. So this is
all right. Now we've turned against you, Jess.
This is actually a question that somebody asked me the other day, and I said, once you can complete all of your 1-a-days, it's like, oh, you got 6 sessions a week. Are you getting all 6 of them in? No. Okay, well, come back and ask me once you've got all 6 done. How about that? And then once you can consistently do 6. Okay, so I fielded this question from somebody the other day who wants to get better and wants to do, all these 2-a-days and what the best people in the gym are doing, right? And this is not the point. I'd rather you go 5 for 5 than 5 for 9. Because if I write a program out that's 9 sessions and you do 5 of them and you come to me and you complain, it's a load of bullshit. And I wasted my time writing 9 sessions for you when you only completed 5 of them. So I'd rather you just do 5 for 5 than 5 for 9 or 4 for 9 or some bullshit. Or come in and not even do your whole workout and then say you want to do more. It's when you are physically and mentally ready in order to finish all your sessions, and then you can handle getting up early or coming back into the gym at 7 o'clock at night, then you can maybe be ready for these things. And then
it's going to pain me to admit that I agree with that point.
And then once you, and then how about this one? Once you start your 2-a-days, what I think is probably a more successful model to get the ball rolling on it is we have there's probably a general consensus where you could say that we have a general athleticism, and then you're going to stack on top of that a level of strength. Then on top of that, you're going to stack the specific sport at hand, which is going to be weightlifting in this case. So if you come in and you say, I want a 2-a-day, and you're going 6 for 6, and that's great, then you might add 1 or 2 or 3 sessions of general athleticism. And then once you can roll with that, and once you've gone 9 for 9, now you can turn those 3 sessions into maybe a little more strength work. And then once you build upon that, then you can start doing maybe snatches and clean and jerks twice a day. Maybe. But again, we're not going to double the volume, but we're just going to build their body in order to handle the capacity, okay, of all those 7, 8, 9, 10 sessions, whatever you want. When I would do 12 sessions a week for rowing, they didn't all start out balls to the wall, whatever. They were all just building a base volume so my body could just handle what I was given, and then we can go from there. 2 seconds to go. Wasted no one's time. Okay, on to it.
Right.
Look at that. Timer done. Next
timer
one.
done. Real quickly, though.
Hashtag schooled.
You guys' opinion. What happens if an athlete comes in multiple times a day, finishing up one session? So we have a lot of students that train here, so they come in and they train, then they have to go to class, and they have to come back again and train, and they have to go to class or work, and then they come back again and train.
I mean, it's not ideal, but like if you're trying to complete it, then I get it.
I mean, the upside of it is, though, with that amount of rest, it kind of goes back into now you're doing 2 sessions.
So you get higher quality.
You get higher quality. So if you do your snatch, your clean and jerk, your squats, okay, then you go to class, you come back 6 hours later, 4 hours later, you've had a chance to eat and rest and recover, and now you're doing all your accessory stuff, you can tackle it with much more intensity.
Cool. So that'll lead us into our.
And to be honest, just one step further, that's not a bad approach for you asked specifically about weightlifting, or you got specific about weightlifting, but in fitness it's the same thing, right? Like if you want to be fit, which I think that's one of the questions on here, but and I'll kind of save some of that, but you could do a strength session and a cardio session.
Yep.
Anyway.
So we'll skip a question because I think that was a good segue into which is more important, training or recovery. Dan German, you will start us off. You have 5 minutes.
I'm going to say training on this because I want to see how he answers the recovery portion. I'm going to say training because...
Well, see, you skipped. See, that was set up perfect for me to be able to answer that. You skipped a question.
Well,
no, go
you
ahead.
segued into the training recovery. So,
That's right.
Dan, you're taking the stance that training is more
I'm going
important.
to say training is more important because when somebody... we talk about the classic sort of strength coach where it's like, you just got to do bodybuilding, blah, blah, blah. This is the new age sports performance guru. It's all about recovery. You got to recover. You got to make sure you got your ice baths and your Normatex and your whatever. We're going to manage recovery and we're going to use the data. Like, you still got to fucking train. Like, this is like the classic, like, this is the soft approach to modern day sports performance. We're just gonna do recovery work, and we're not gonna push them too hard. We want them feeling fresh. You're not gonna feel fresh when you go to train, nor should you. So you have to get in a certain amount of training volume again to adapt your body to the demands that we're gonna place upon it. Correct, Dan? We mentioned that.
Don't
earlier.
ask me. I'm on the other side of this question.
Yeah, right. Totally forget what we just talked about. But yeah, I mean, you got to force some sort of change. You got to force a stimulus. You have to train hard enough that you have to recover. And these are the things from a team standpoint where you can see people are getting a little dragged down because you're training them too hard. Okay, then you need some recovery methods in there. You need some modalities. You need to make sure they have a recovery plan set up, that they're taking care of the basics. A lot of the things we talked about last episode with the wearables, where they're making sure that they take care of their business outside of here and that they're well fed, well hydrated, all that other shit. But that is all useless unless you actually train hard. If you don't train hard, all that stuff is just not really going to matter. You have to train.
Dan, let me just tell you, you're wrong.
Okay.
As always, and recovery is the most important thing. All right, because on a few fronts, when you train, that's when you degrade your muscle. That's when you tax your aerobic system, your anaerobic system. That's when you tax all that stuff. The actual adaptation doesn't occur until you recover. So if you just stress your body out and you keep stressing it out and you stress it out and you stress it out and you keep stressing it out even more, you stress it out some more, it never has a chance to go back to even the original baseline of where it was at, which is why recovery is the most important thing. Okay? And Dan, what are the 2 largest contributors to recovery? Sleep, nutrition. Okay? You know anybody that's lost weight that's eating a shitty diet? You know anybody?
Maybe one.
Okay, one?
Maybe the old frat boy example.
Well, I mean, if you're doing cocaine, it doesn't count, right? PEDs. So, nutrition and sleep are 2 of the huge components of recovery. Those are vital to everything you do. They regulate your hormone profile, okay? Beyond being fit, it's what makes you feel like a complete human. It's what gives you your sex drive. It's what gives you your vigor in the morning to tackle the day. It's what leads your biological drive or need to reproduce to carry on the human race. So how you can say that training is more important than recovery, I have no idea. And once again, you are wrong. No more time on this question, Jess. Next one.
All right. So we'll go back a question. That was actually a pretty good argument. I like that. All right. I'm going to add in a little part to this. So when should I move up or down a weight class? You have 5 minutes on the clock. Dan Brown, you may begin.
You should move down a weight class when you're overly fat. Okay, there are not a ton of research studies out there on Olympic weightlifting. There was one done on a collegiate football team in which they evaluated the Olympic lifts in proportionate to body fat, and the take-home message was fat don't flex, and at some point it's not aiding in anything in your power production. Okay, so if you're walking around, let's say you're me, all right, and you're walking around and you're a little fat and you got a fucking belly, I need to be dropping a weight class because all that belly's doing is slowing me down in my ability to recover and my ability to handle more training, all right, and thus my ability to get stronger. Okay, so my own fatness will be holding me back. There are even super heavyweights that don't need to move down a weight class, they just need to be less fat, okay, because it's in the way of their positions and the way they recover. You watch the 2016 Olympic trials in Salt Lake City in the female division, there was, I still maintain, an illegal lift, but by one of the super heavyweight females where she got into her setup position and the bar came off the floor, all right, and it was just a matter of her size really getting in the way of her ability to set up. So when your weight is no longer helping you perform and it's becoming a hindrance is when you need to start stripping it away.
What about moving up? You want to take that as well? Or?
Oh, yeah, sure. You know what? You should move up when your weight is holding you back from your performance, okay? So if you're always, let's say you're living, we'll go with lighter class women, it's easy, it's easier to visualize this, but, I used to have a saying that for girls, they've never seen a lighter weight class that didn't look better, right? So like they always like looking to drop that weight. So let's say, for example, you sit at 52 kilos and you cut down to 48. In your last 6 meets in a row, you've had the same total, all right? Your back squat's gone up 3 kilos in 3 years, right? Your total strength is down. Well, now you're not eating enough to support your training and to support your recovery, to support your advancement in moving the maximum amount of weight, which is the goal. Take it away, Dan. If there's anything left.
All right, Dan.
Do you think you should move up
Well,
or
I'm over
down
here
weight
crushing
class?
it for 2.5 minutes.
Well, when you shouldn't move down a weight class? When you're trying to accomplish a very short-sighted goal of, hey, if I cut down to if I cut 6 kilos off my body in the next 6 weeks, then I can make the national meet that's upcoming when I've only been in the sport for 3 months. Right? This is a problem because you're not looking at the long term. You're so short-sighted in your development that you can maybe forego that one meet to, win the battle but lose the war. And now your gains are totally fucked. Or you've somehow rushed your development and you're only looking at the one thing in front of your face. When you need to take a step back and say, if you focus on these 5 things over the next 6 months, then in a year you'll consistently be at that national level. We're still looking on battery life. We're at 7%.
Oh my gosh, that's what I was worried
running
about.
out of time. Oh my God. Okay, maybe we'll live, maybe we won't. But you should not move down when you're just looking right in front of your face and not looking at the long term. Otherwise, you can create some serious problems for your training in the future. I would say this is probably more common in females than males when you develop some sort of disordered eating, because you're just, or even worse, the body image issues on top of the already body image issues that everyone faces, like especially in a strength sport. So this can be a problem. And then you should not move up a weight class when you don't commit to moving up a weight class. If you're an 85, you're like, I want to be a 94. And next thing you know, you get to 88 kilos.
Maxed out.
Right, and you're maxed out, and you're a quote-unquote hard gainer, right? You just can't find a way to put on that other 6 kilos to actually get to your weight class, or God forbid, train 2 kilos above where you should be, right? Because if you're training at 96, you're probably okay to drop to 94 by cutting out a couple of those pizzas a week.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, you're going to be in your weight class.
Don't want to lose my abs.
Right. So, when you start getting a little softer, maybe not 100% of the weight you put on is muscle, but you're going to put on a little bit of fluff, then you just cut that right back off. So you should commit.
All right.
You're done.
Done. All right. When does max squat matter in Olympic weightlifting? Dan German, you're on the clock.
When does it matter?
Or does it matter? Does max squat matter?
I think it does not matter to a certain point. So it does not matter. So it does not matter when your technique and your lifts are so far below what that maximal squat is. Okay, it doesn't matter when you can only snatch 120 but back squat 320. I just don't fucking care. I really don't. We can maintain a little bit of that, but I don't really give a shit if you can't lift. You can just call it whatever percentage you want. You can put a finite percentage, but if it's nowhere in the ballpark, I just don't give a shit. It also doesn't matter what your max squat is if you have a loose a loose, shitty, soft bottom position in the catch of the snatch or the clean and jerk. If you catch a weight and you're just a limp noodle in the bottom, and you sit down there and you have this perfect position.
You're air quoting.
Right, air quoting, where we have no tension, air quotes, in the bottom, okay, and you can't stand anything up. But you can squat that weight, but you can't clean it. It's that is a technique issue. That is a learning the lift in the classical lift.
So it doesn't matter.
It just doesn't matter. It's I don't really care what you can squat.
Dan.
Okay, all right.
One of these new age coaches that thinks squatting doesn't matter. Well, it absolutely does matter, Dan.
No squatting, all recovery.
And not only does it matter, Bondarchuk, Anatoly, world famous throws coach, did a lot of research on this very thing. And basically what he was doing is he was looking at the transfer of training in sport.
Okay.
Wrote a whole bunch of shit about it. I suggest you read it, Dan. But basically, to get better at your sport, you got to have some exercises that aren't the ones, the specific competition lift.
Correct.
To get better.
Correct.
And the transfer of that, meaning if you improve your max front squat, does that carry over to improve max clean? Is high. And it's probably going to be the highest out of any other accessory lift that you do. Any other lift that's not the traditional snatch or clean and jerk. Okay? So your max triple front squat is definitely going to have a correlation to what your max clean is. The part you make about technique is relevant, okay? Because the better your technique, okay, the closer your max clean is going to be to your max front squat. All right? But if you have a 6,000 pound front squat, okay, you're probably going to be able to clean a little bit more than the guy that has a front squat of, 200 pounds, 200 kilos, right? Just by sheer strength. Okay, it's going to give you that carryover. Next question.
All right. So last question.
The batteries.
Last
Don't worry,
question.
we're good.
What is more important for fitness? And we're talking general fitness. Cardio or lifting? Dan Brown, you can start us off.
Ooh.
We all know that Dan German is a world-class rower.
You better please
and
say cardio.
I have a 405-pound bench press. I'm going weights. Here's why.
Just so you know.
All right, so you want mass to last. Check out that upcoming program December 1.
Could have been state champs if it was 406.
Anytime. So here's the deal. When you're talking about losing weight and incorporating it into fitness, there's a lot of people that just go out there and they just start running, they just start doing cardio right away, and it puts an incredible strain on their body. It puts a big pounding on their body because they're probably running with subpar mechanics, all right? And the chances of them having overuse injury and burnout type of injuries are going to happen pretty quick. Plus, the variety sucks, all right? You get bored as shit, you're going to quit. All right, when you go into the gym and you lift, there's a million different things you can do to create a million different stimuli to get a whole bunch of change. The more mass you have on your body, the more calories your body consumes to maintain that mass, the more fat you should lose. Right? Just hit the red button again.
Don't worry, we're still alive.
We're still going.
We are still kicking.
Mass to last.
Mass
so
to
put the
last.
muscle mass on. You'll burn more calories to maintain that muscle mass. You'll, you'll walk in and your coworkers be like, oh, nice arms. Let's see you get all that muscle. You're not going to get big and bulky. Okay. The other thing is, if you want a good stimulus for your heart, because you want to be heart healthy, that's an important thing. Pick up a whole bunch of weights really fast. Do a whole bunch of kettlebell swings really fast.
Is that cardio?
I don't know, Dan. I think rather than
cardio,
I think a bike, rower, run, swim.
Okay, well maybe that's where
yoga.
Maybe that's where your yoked up puny brain can't quite comprehend the concept of cardiovascular work over here. But I get it. So we have 3 minutes left here. It has absolutely crushed this. But I'm going to say that cardio is going to help you a lot in just being able to train and drum roll, recover. How about that? So if you are just a fat slug that just walks in the gym and you're like, I just want to continue to be a fat slug and lift these weights and take 5-minute breaks, you go right ahead. But if you got a resting heart rate of, I don't know, 75 and you can't sleep mainly because you got sleep apnea because you're a fat slug, right? This is just how it goes, okay? Because we all know bigger people, they just get sleep apnea. That is a thing, okay? So if you cannot recover, if your resting heart rate,
that was a direct shot at me for those of you following along.
I mean, like if you can't, if your resting heart rate is so high that you are so sympathetically toned that you cannot apply enough training in order to really see the results you want. So in the beginning, you're going to want to get your base level of movement capacity and just overall aerobic capacity up to a level where when you do go to implement all that strength training or any heavy lifting, you have enough juice in the tank in order to out-train that fat slug that just wants to lift every 5 minutes over in the corner. Okay, so this is where the base of cardio is going to help every other aspect in order to give you a bigger gas tank in order to train harder than the next person. Also, added benefit, because you have that nice little low resting heart rate, you can also recover faster, which means you can get back in the gym sooner and outperform that person.
According to you, we should just keep training all the time, not worrying about recovery.
Right, well,
I thought you'd convince me.
Well, when you do have like a good aerobic base around you, you can handle all those sessions a week, so you can recover faster than that person that considers walking out to the parking lot cardio. Okay, sorry, GPP. I forgot. GPP. I climbed the stairs. GPP. I waddled to the monolift. GPP.
Oh, come on. Don't make fun of the power lifters.
I mean,
they're good people too.
Right, they are. But please, somebody just say something else besides GPP.
Functional immobility.
Functional immobility. I actually like that a lot better than anything else.
All right.
You have to be a certain level of fitness in order to train. Strongmen are a great example.
Cool. Any closing remarks, comments?
Well, I think it's clear today if this was on some sort of point system, I definitely won by a substantial amount.
We didn't count negative points.
We didn't keep score, but I know that I did. If you guys have any questions, send them in. You can always hit them up in the DMs and the Instas and the face pages. We'll keep answering them. Anything else, Jess?
Any disclaimers? Again, some of those are not absolutes, but
you got to pick a side.
You got to pick a side.
You got to take your stand.
No more. It depends.
All right.
Take your stand.
Out.
Done.